tired of searching for great talk radio? Search no more. We are the GCN Radio Network.
There must be some kind of way out of here, said the Joker to the thief. There's too much confusion. I can't get no relief. Yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm not putting up with it anymore. I am mad as hell.
There must be some kind of way out of here.
And I know this. Me and mine, we're not slaves. I'm not a slave. My family aren't slaves. I know slavery when I see it, and a bunch of dirtbag corporatists coming in here with a bunch of fancy song and dance and looting the nation and stealing $12.8 trillion in the last 6 months to line their dirtbag pockets, and now they're menacing us with the military and Obamanoids running around on the streets saying gun owners are the number one terror threat in America. You're the terrorist, you bankers, you criminals. All right, I'm going to blitz through calls because it's coming up to the gun stuff. Next segment, I promise, but I want to take more of your calls. Just these callers keep bringing up issues that fire me up to no end. And I guess it's wrong. You know, the Founding Fathers got fired up, too, about freedom. They were evil, I guess, according to the FEMA reports. I've got FEMA on tape saying the Founding Fathers were terrorists and bad. Maybe loving freedom and not wanting to be a slave and having red blood is bad. Unless you're yelling at a stupid sports game, then it's okay. That's allowed. That's all that is. See, is like a little avenue to discharge all your real energy. As you sit there like a spectator, dressed up like a clown, instead of really getting fired up in the game of life, which is war. War against tyranny. Tyranny's always waging war against liberty. Have you figured that out yet? Well, there's a war going on for your mind and your wallet and your children and everything. You going to stand up to it? John in Toronto, Canada. You're on the air worldwide, John. John, come ahead. Okay, John just made the jump into hyperspace. Let's talk to John from an undisclosed location. From Planet Pop-Tart. You're on the air, John. Go ahead.
How's it going?
Good, sir.
First, let me just say I prefer to say undisclosed just because I don't believe in the man-made boundaries that we have drawn in the lines, which have done nothing but, diminish our progress as humans.
So you believe in a global government, great, with a big, fat,
not at all,
mousy tongue running at the top with machine guns. Okay.
Let me just say to you this way. I was pointed in your direction by a very well-known member of InfoWars. To put it to you simply, I used to deal firearms for many years, and I'm sure you can piece it together and understand who I'm talking about. And with this said...
riddle me this, riddle me that. I don't know what you're... Just tell me, sir. What's going on?
Nature's law. All right? Nature always goes in hand with irony. What we're talking about is parasites, people that are feeding. Let's take the common flea, for example. What they do is they feed, but without that feeder, they have nothing, no power. And we're talking about these people that are running the world at this point and controlling us. However, the only reason why they can do this is because we have allowed them to feed off of us.
And we follow their orders, and we do what they say, and they've turned our jobs and our schools and everything into prisons. I agree with you. Great point.
And the time that we can get this to turn is, and perfect points that previous caller called in about the census taker, came to his yard. Why is that guy the only guy sitting there arguing with them? How many neighbors did he have looking out their blinds going, oh my God, what's going on? That guy fought as one. Now this is what needs to change. Because the way I see it is when that census guy comes and forces himself on that property, it shouldn't be...
Yeah, that's a giant... That's a baby chick.
It should be every neighbor in that neighborhood coming down.
Yeah,
now, we're talking about 10 pawns versus 1 king.
I hear you. People got to take action. That was a baby tick coming out to scout blood meals for the larger mega ticks. And they're violating your Fifth Amendment, folks. But you violate your Fifth Amendment when you fill out an income tax form we didn't have till 1913. You waive your rights. You violate your rights. They threaten you with penalties if you don't incriminate yourself and fill out these forms. The government says it's exempt from mistakes, but you're not exempt from mistakes. It goes on and on and on and on. And speak of the devil, they're trying to make school teachers and then real estate agents and then CPAs and then everybody. Under Homeland Security, they're going to make everyone in the nation have a national ID card, locally standardized ID, to have a job. That's official. And they're phasing it in right now. So I got a news tip mailed to me here at this station. And yes, I was aware of this, but I'm glad the person mailed it to me. It says, America's privacy threatened by new global fingerprint database. CPA group allows foreign data miner full access to American fingerprints. See, not only are they making all the CPA people now fingerprint to have a CPA job like you're a prisoner in a database, that's being shared internationally to track and trace you. And it's the same. They make you thumbprint to get school lunches in most schools. And even if you're paying for it yourself, this is the control grid to track and trace. So they just turn your thumbprint off. They admit that the governments admit they're conditioning the public to do this to buy and sell. Whether you believe in revelations or not, this is a bad idea. Imagine if Hitler would have had this. Nobody would have gotten away from him. Even the American Institute for Certified Public Accountants, under pressure from outraged citizens and CPAs from across the country, has recently admitted to collecting the fingerprints of American citizens who take the CPA exam. And it doesn't matter. It says people in a news article bring their Social Security card, driver's license, passport, everything, and they say, no, you must give us your biometric fingerprint. Now, see, I have this Lou Dobbs piece. Now, I reported this a couple of weeks ago about, and so did Gunners of America, about this new treaty to ban reloading, saying it's terrorism and explosives to reload in your home. Or private companies have to get a UN license, international license. It'll ban cleaning your guns, disassembling guns, changing barrels. It will restrict the shipping of guns outside the U.S. and guns into the United States. But people don't believe us, even when we link to the treaty. So I wanted to, right now, before I come back and go to calls, maybe I can settle down if we play this, go ahead and get into this, and we'll continue with calls after it. I'm going to play just a little bit of this. The whole clip's linked up on Infowars.com from YouTube right now. And you can go there and link through the treaty itself as well. Rights under assault, foreign access to U.S. gun registry. And they make you fingerprint to be a gun dealer. And then that goes in the UN database. In 2000, they signed a world treaty where all driver's license, all IDs, all this stuff is a worldwide database set by the UN. The UN is in control of the swine flu response. And they're bragging, oh, this is good for global government, a good test, as the nations follow their orders. And who owns the UN? The private bankers, who are openly setting up the Bank of the World, who just stole your $12.8 trillion out of the U.S. alone, another $10 trillion out of other nations. Private banks tax you. Private banks have taken over. Here's Lou Dobbs. Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll start it now and come back in a minute. Here it is.
A renewed effort tonight that could curtail our Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms if President Obama has his way. He wants the Senate to ratify a little-known treaty that would create a national registry for guns. Under that treaty, other nations would be able to identify gun owners in the United States. Bill Tucker has our report.
President Obama went to Mexico and brought back a 12-year-old treaty.
I'm urging the Senate in the United States to ratify an inter-American treaty known as SIFTA to curb small arms trafficking that is a source of so many of the weapons used in this drug war.
The treaty signed by President Clinton in 1997 was never ratified by the Senate. It calls for the institution of a regime of gun control never before seen in the United States, creating a gun registration system that would be open to international sharing. Offenders would be prosecuted under treaty law, and they would be eligible for extradition. Proponents like Senator Dick Lugar are urging passage, saying, quote, we should consider ratifying during this Congress.
Think about the magnitude of that. Americans are now being extradited to Germany if they say the Holocaust didn't happen, or that 5,999,000 people were killed by Hitler. Hitler killed millions. He was a bad guy. I don't even disagree with that. Even if you think 10 million people were killed by Hitler, let's say 100 million, whatever. It's your First Amendment or free speech right to say that. But they set the precedent with these treaties. Well, you're not for Nazis, are you? And the next it's, oh, you're denying global warming. They want, if you deny man-made climate change now, the European Union is trying to pass a law to arrest you. See? Oh, you're for that? You see how this is happening? Oh, you violated a gun law in Germany, in the U.S., you're going to Germany.